One should be cognizant when Hadlakas Neiros is on Motzei Shabbos. That's the way it is. Motzei Shabbos. When is Hadlakas Neiros? Because I'm preparing. I'm preparing for the Melech Malchei Amlachim to come to my house. There's no shaila that if we had a Melech Basar D'Dam coming to our home, we're prepared. So for Shteitzach we're preparing. But the main idea is that we know when Hadlakas Neiros. And certainly, by Parshas Chayei, things are going to change into the Sha'on Chorev. The person really has to be prepared. But if we know already, then we could be able to work out everything. Remember, we said before, I used to think that the issues on Erev Shabbos was a problem with the tension was beat the clock, But no, it's not that. It's that we said that something comes into our homes on Erev Shabbos and tries to disrupt us. If we already know then when Hadlakas Neiros is, and we can start making preparations and work backwards or forwards in whatever way, we could be able to do a much better job as such. So believe me, if I remember, I'm going to remember, when the Hadlakas Neiros is as such. There's a beautiful Alsha from last week's Parsha that I just want to share. And it says the Alsha, who goes back centuries, a great Kabbalist buried in Svaz. And he says the following. Question, why is it that Shem and Yafis, when they went to cover their father, that they went in backwards? No doubt they looked, they saw his shape, and they couldn't see anything close up. And then they got close, and as soon as they realized, they turned around, and they went backwards with the cover and placed it on him without looking at it. Why didn't they just walk in and close their eyes? That would be fine. If they close their eyes, if they can do it backwards, they can certainly do it forwards and place it on. So he says a very major concept, and says the Alsha, that when the Tzelem Elokim, which we are Tzelem Elokim, but basically the Iker part of the Tzelem Elokim is our faith. When the Tzelem Elokim is exposed to something which is not Torah, it's impure, it's immodest, the Tzelem Elokim is damaged. Sometimes a person is confronted with something, so he looks away, and that's it. As Rabbi Miller was mentioned to me one of our conversations tonight, that Rabbi Miller said, study the pavement. This way a person is walking, sees something, it's not study the pavement, so you're not looking. But at the same time, you want to move your face away, you don't want to put your face there in the first place if at all possible. And that's why the Gemara Baba Basra says that if you have a person that has two different trails, two paths to follow, and instead of selecting a path which is totally out of the area, he instead goes into an area where there is a stream, and women are dressed for the stream, then he is compromising, even if his eyes are closed. And I wonder why, if his eyes are closed, he's not looking at anything. What's wrong with that? And he's criticized very heavily. And so what's the problem? According to the Alshach, of course there's a problem, because he should have avoided allowing his Tzelem Elokim to be confronted with something that he should not be exposed to. So it's something to think of in this area as such. Let's go into Parshas Vayelech and Parshas Lech Lecha. It is interesting that when we deal with Parshas and when we deal with Noach, both of those Parshas deal with centuries. Parshas itself is over 1,000 years. It ends with Noach. Noach was born in the 1006. So you're dealing with centuries. Okay, that's first of all. And did I say 1006? 1056. 1056. So therefore, you're dealing over 1,000 years. And Noach itself, which reaches Avram Avinu's time, is another almost 1,000 years. When we come to Parshas Lech Lecha, it's 24 years. There's an abrupt for halt. And it is interesting, just keep it in mind. As we mentioned last week, Lech Lecha occurs 17 years after Noach was nifter. After Noach died, then Hashem speaks to Avram, Lech Lecha mi'artzecha. Noach was there. Abraham then was 75 years old. And we know that when Avram had the bris milah, which is in the end of this week's parsha, he was 99 years old. So therefore you're dealing with 24 years. Immediately is a different level of interaction between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Klal Yisrael, more so than anything else. And that's just something to keep in mind as we go through the Parshas itself, and it gives us just a good perspective of what the situation is as such. Now, Lech Lecha, says Hashem to Avram Avinu, Me'asecha me'moladecha me'beis avicha. Leave your home, your place of where you're living, and go to the land that I tell you to go to. Fine. And when you go, I'm going to make you, I'll make you into a great nation. I will give you material wealth. And bracha, you're going to be a bracha. And the Vagad Shemecha, I'll give you fame, bracha. Now, so here, fame, fortune, children, all the blessings, just follow what Hashem wants. So the commentaries, of course, my Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Ruderman Zechat, he said, who wouldn't go? What's the Nisayon? Anybody would go. And think of it. Hashem speaks to one of us. He says, listen, fame, fortune, children, you have it made. Just go. Of course I'll go. So what's the Nisayon? So the Nisayon is, Vayelech Avram Kasher Diber Elav Hashem. Avram went, another few psukim later, just as Hashem told him, not for fame, not for fortune, not for children, only because this is it. Similar to what we had last week. Last week we spoke about Noah. Hashem says to Noah, I'm going to destroy the world, build a teva, I'm going to bring a flood. Why that sequence? Why didn't he say, I'm going to destroy the world, it's going to be a flood, build a teva? Because he didn't want Noah to build that teva for any other reason other, God said. And that is what we all have to try to do. In each of us, in our particular way. We do something because Hashem said. The mitzvahs, of course, the chukim, remember, in this way, every mitzvah, every mishpat, whatever it is a chok. Because the bottom line of everything is, why are you doing this? Why am I honoring parents? Why am I doing everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants? Of course there's a wonderful reason why we should be honoring our parents, and why we should be giving tzedakah, and why we should be doing so many other mitzvahs. But the bottom line is, Hashem wants it to be, and that's it. And that's why, listen, L'Shem Shemayim, when we eat, so Mishnah Berurah says in the Reish Lamed Daled, I believe it is, where he says when Shekol Kavanosav Yud L'Shem Shemayim, he says Re'isi Balei Ma'isa. I saw Balei Ma'isa that when they eat, they say Hareni Yochel V'Shoshe Kedei Sheyeh Bari V'Chazak Lavodas Hashem Yisbarach. I am eating and drinking to be strong and healthy to do the service of Hashem. That's something anybody can do. Listen, I'm eating because I like the food. I like pizza. I like this. I like that. Fine. But at the same time, I'm doing all this to be a servant of God, to be able to be strong and healthy to serve the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's it. So all of us, L'Shem Shemayim. That's it. Each to the extent that he can be in the best possible way. Now, the parsha ends with bris milah. The Sefer HaChinuch says clearly, if Hashem wants us to have a bris, why didn't he make us that way? There are some exceptions, and we have. Moshe Rabbeinu was born already with a bris. Other of the patriarchs, Yaakov Avinu with a bris. The fact is, people though are born with uncircumcised. Why? So the Sefer HaChinuch says that Hashem wants to get the message across. That just as we are able to complete ourselves, to perfect ourselves physically by removing the orla, we can perfect ourselves and must perfect ourselves spiritually as well. Man has a task that in this period of time that we're here, we must perfect ourselves in serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we are able to. We have the siyata d'shmaya, and we have the charge to do it, just as we have the bris milah physically. And when we say, Kashem shenichlas the bris, kem yikanos the Torah chupa ma'asim tovim, and just as the child enters the bris, so too for Torah, for chupa ma'asim tovim. So Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky said, just as the child is healthy at the time of the bris, so too should he be healthy for Torah, for chupa ma'asim tovim. And others have said, just as the time of the bris, we are happy, so too we should be happy for the Torah, chupa ma'asim tovim. And just like at the time of the bris is permanent, so too should his Torah, his chuppah, and his ma'asim tovim be permanent. And the Kleisenberger said, just at the time of the bris, certain people are alive, of family members and others, so too they should be alive at the time, of Torah, chuppah, ma'asim tovim. And as a younger man, David Levi said his father told him that just at the time of the bris, we do it l'shem shemayim, so too the Torah, chuppah, ma'asim tovim should be l'shem shemayim. At the time when the child is named, we say Kotten zeh gadol. Yeah, we understand that. Now he's a Kotten. He's going to be a gadol. The Zohar says a Kotten, a gadol, is someone like the Meor HaGadol, like the sun, gives to others. The sun shines on others. The moon is the Meor HaKotten because it only receives, it doesn't give. So there's more to the deeper meaning to this bracha. Just as that now, Kotten zeh, this little child now, who is only a taker, he can't be a giver. He's not old enough. He just takes nutriment. He takes everything else. This child will grow to be a gadol. He'll grow to be a giver, to be able to influence others, bring people closer to God, and do what he can to be able to benefit mankind. So may it be. A good Shabbos.